What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Trackside podcast. This is episode 8 of season 3. We got to talk about NASCAR races. I was there doing media. Unfortunately, Lakota did not make it, but she did get quite a bit of surprises because of me. I asked a bunch of the guys that know us, um, and they made short little videos. They were pretty fun. I was thinking about editing a little like thing of all of them um for you. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get that put together. Um, but so maybe you guys might end up seeing it. Who knows? Um, but um, let's get into the weekend.
It was kind of sad watching it on TV because I was so used to being there, and I've gone for 3 years and I didn't go. So it was so sad. I honestly, not gonna lie, kind of cried the entire week because I wasn't there, and it made me really sad.
well,
It
as
was
some of the
strange.
boys said, you just gotta be back in the fall.
Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna be back in the fall. Thanks to the boys. They did that.
But so let's get into this weekend. Um, Trucks ran on Friday. So during practice, Ryan Roulette spins in turns 3 and 4, but continues. But it was Corey Heim to take pole with Ty Majeski on the outside. On lap 13, Ryan Roulette spins on the front stretch after contact with Corey Heim while running 34th. So he was about to get lapped and he ended up wrecking himself on the leader.
That's fun.
Um, Corey Heim still leading Ty Majeski on the outside. Lap 24, Lane Riggs spins from fifth after contact with Connor Mozak. Coreyheim leading again, Caden Honeycutt this time on the outside. And Coreyheim wins stage one, Caden Honeycutt finishing second with Ty Majeski in third. Connor Mozak and Tanner Gray round out the top five. On the restart, Corey Heim is still leading on the inside, Caden Honeycutt on the outside. Um, so Corey ends up winning stage two as well. On this restart, Raja Caruth leads with Matt Crafton on the outside. Um, Lap 115, Luke Baldwin spins between turns 1 and 2. Um, After contact with Corey Day, and he got into the rumble strips. Roger Caruth leads on the restart, Matt Crafton again on the outside. Lap 148, Corey Day spins from 20th in turn 2, making contact with the left rear, but is able to continue. Corey Heim leading on this restart with Tom Jeske on the outside. Another caution on lap 157 for Luke Baldwin, again spinning from 7th with contact from Jake Garcia in turn 4. Matthew Gold also receives front left damage and pits. And while Corey Day also spins again in this incident.
Poor
The
Corey. It was not a good
yeah,
night.
yeah. The restart, Corey Heim on the inside, Chimajewski on the outside. Um, Lap 167, right after this restart, Corey Heim experiences a left rear cut tire after contact with Caden Honeycutt. He slows entering turn one and then spins. On this restart, Caden Honeycutt is leading with Tyler Ankrum on the outside. Man, I was pulling so hard for Tyler Ankrum. Like I was at the start finish line. because I had to get photos of the finish. Um, but I was hoping so hard for Tyler Ankrum. But it was hard fought. But there was another caution on lap 179. Jack Wood, Grant Enfinger, and Tanner Gray all spin after making contact entering turn two, near 20th. On the restart, Caden Honeycutt is leading with Tyler Ankrum on the outside. Um, and Ty Majeski and Caden Honeycutt make contact entering turn one, spinning themselves, meaning Tyler Ankrum got the lead, inherited the lead from this. So I'm sitting here freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God, wait, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Then we continue. Um,
The way that
Tyler,
you were texting me about if Tyler Ingram wins, and then it just did not go.
um, so Tyler Ankrum leading, Jake Garcia on the outside. Daniel Hemrick chooses the restart behind Tyler Ankrum. Okay, that is important.
Poor-
Daniel Hemrick clears Ankrum for the lead and ends
Mhm.
up winning by half a second over Tyler Ankrum. Now,
That
I
was
will I will say I preferably wanted Tyler Ankrum to win, but I completely forgot that Daniel Hemrick does backflips for his wins. I was sitting at the start finish line taking pictures of him getting out of the truck, right? Then all of a sudden he climbs up onto the roof and does the flip. And it completely caught me off guard because
Carl
I've
Edwards.
I have never witnessed a Daniel Hemrick win. I was not back into the sport then when he was winning in Xfinity. So
I don't think I've ever seen Daniel Hemrick win. I've
he,
only
he
ever I've only ever seen him win on TV and him do the backflip. I've never been there for an actual win
like
of
it
his.
completely threw me off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that means none of our picks were correct for the truck race.
Yeah. I'm gonna pretend I remember who I picked because I definitely do not. I have no idea.
All right. So
Can
on
we skip the Xfinity? I don't want to talk about it.
we kind of have to. It was
I don't want to. I don't want to.
during practice, Carson Ware spins between turns three and four. Jeb Burton experiences a battery issue, slowing on track, requiring a push into the pits. Following practice, Jeb Burton did not make a qualifying lap due to a battery change. But it was Connor Zilich to get the pole with Carson Quapple on the outside. The first caution for cause was lap 54. While battling for eighth, Corey Day goes inside Harrison Burton entering turn one. Both drivers make contact and go up into the outside wall, but they continue on. They still receive damage, but not race-ending damage. Um, and under that caution, um, Connor Zilich secures his first stage win on an oval.
Let's go, Connor.
On the restart, it's Brandon Jones leading with Justin Allgaier on the outside. Lap 81, Garrett Smithley spins off of turn four. Brandon Jones and Connor Zilich have to slow to avoid um, Smithley on the front stretch. In the process, both of them make contact, resulting in damage on the front of Zilich's car and the left rear of Brandon Jones. On the restart, it is Connor Zilich leading Justin Allgaier on the outside. Um, Dean Thompson spins on lap 95 in turns one and two. On this restart, it is still Connor Zilisch leading Austin Hill this time on the outside. Connor Zilisch ends up winning stage two as well. That means both um Trucks and Xfinity had the same stage winners, like for who got both, you know?
I was gonna say, and it's a good thing that both of them got stage points.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Um, on this restart, Eric Almirola on the inside, Justin Allgaier on the outside. Lap 140. So this was apparently something that had never been necessarily seen before. Um, Harrison Burton gets spun by Thomas and Nunziata. Um, Thomas was in front of Harrison, and they make contact, and the back of Thomas's car manages to pull out the splitter and under pan thingy connected to the splitter out from under Harrison's car, and it's sitting on the front grille, like the nose of the car. This
What
metal piece is laying on the front of Harrison's car.
What's funny is AM Racing posted saying people not getting Christmas cards this year. Sammy Smith, Thomas, and whatever, and Maya Snyder.
You know, that's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, to be honest. But
Yeah.
they get going again, and this time it is Taylor Gray, leading with Sheldon Creed on the outside.
Oh boy.
Um, so lap 154, Sam Merritt and Carson Kvapil make contact on the front stretch. Kvapil gets squeezed into the wall, so they throw a caution. This time it is Christian Eckes leading with Myatt Snyder on the outside. Um, then lap 176, Connor Zilisch spins from 17th. Apparently he did it himself because he entered turn one too aggressively. So it is Williams Wallach and Taylor Gray leading on this restart on the front row. And there is a caution on lap 192 for Carson Ware, spinning on turn two and stopped on track. Um, on this restart, Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith is on the outside this time.
Oh, it's not.
Um, it's not yet. It's not yet. First, we guess we still got to get through another Harrison spin on lap 201.
Let's not relive that either.
Um, and they have to hold the or not hold the caution, but like continue the caution because Greg Van All stalls on the front stretch, bringing the caution back out. So Taylor Gray is leading Sammy Smith on the outside. Lap 210, Dean Thompson spins from 13th, bringing out a caution. Then they run it back. Tammy, Sammy and Taylor.
Together, we're Tammy.
Together they're Tammy. Um, and then this restart, Person Quapple spins in turn one after contact with Jesse Love. Both drivers express their displeasure with one another, um, because they end up nose to nose,
Damn,
after this.
this would have been the race to be at, but also I probably would have not known whose side to pick in like any of this. I would have been like,
Yeah.
fellas, you can't get into each other like that, but it's fine. No big
Um,
deal.
so Taylor Gray leading this time, Justin Allgaier is on the outside because Sammy Smith chooses to restart third on the inside. That is important, okay?
No, let's not.
Lap 232. Daniel Dye makes contact with Christian Eckes off of turn two, causing Eckes to spin. Dye makes additional contact, resulting to damage with Nick Sanchez, Josh Williams, Kyle Sieg, and Myatt Snyder.
I was so mad at that one, and I'm like, really? Your own teammate, Christian? Oh man,
Three of them.
I know.
Josh, Christian, and Daniel are all teammates.
I'm like, why? Just
So
why?
this time they had to bring out the red flag because this happened on the backstretch. So they had to bring out the red flag. So they stopped the Xfinity cars on the front stretch, which was actually pretty sick. I was standing on the front stretch up against the fence taking pictures. They brought them out. It was so cool, actually. I know you don't necessarily want to see a red flag, but it was cool in that moment because it's something you never really get to experience. Like, they let all of the fans like come up to the like edge of the grandstands, like close to the fence, so they could also like sit there and take pictures of the cars sitting there. Because most of the drivers they shut their cars off just so they wouldn't like waste any gas or anything like that. Um, and then while they were sitting there waiting, I think it was like 11 minutes, was the red flag. I think I remember seeing. But some of the safety crew guys did come around and actually brought water bottles out to the drivers as they were sitting in their cars. Which I'm actually like normally I feel like you wouldn't necessarily see that. But I'm glad that they're taking the initiative to make sure that our drivers are okay in the cars because obviously you're in a race car, like the engine gets a lot hotter, you're in a fire suit, like heat of the day, um like it's it's a lot. Um and it's a lot it's straining on the body too, on top of all that. Um, so they finally get going again. It's Taylor Gray leading, Sammy Smith on the outside. Again, Justin on the outside. Sammy again chooses the inside and takes third. Another caution happens at lap 242 where Connor Zilich spins after contact. Colliding with William Sawalich, and then makes contact with Jeremy Clements, sending both into the wall. There was a restart and a caution. Um, it was Taylor Gray leading, Sammy Smith, again choosing to be behind Taylor on the restart. Justin Allgaier takes the outside. Um, so Sammy Smith makes contact with Taylor Gray and sends him up the track in turns one and two. So Sammy Smith took the lead, but in the back near like 14th, Matt DiBenedetto spins in turn two, so brings the caution back out. So they have to do another restart. But this time, Sammy Smith is leading with Brandon Jones on the outside.
Oh my.
Taylor ends up on the inside line in third place. As they exit turn two, Taylor bumps Sammy up out of the way and takes the spot. But you have Patrick Starpoli back there in 10th, who hits the wall on the front stretch. So, as they are fighting for the lead, Taylor clears Sammy. But Sammy, they say bumped. He sent it he sent it into turn three. Like no brakes, sent it. So, because of that, Austin Hill gets on the inside of Sammy Smith and ends up taking the lead. But somehow, Sammy causes a multi-car wreck down the front stretch, taking like 4 or 5 cars with him. One of them being Chris Wright. Um, oh gosh, I have it on video. I think Brandon Jones spun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wish I was recording when it happened. I didn't know it was coming, or else I would have hit record. But I was literally on the fence, right just past the flag stand, and they slid across the wall right in front of me. Like, that was crazy. But so I want to say Taylor managed to make it back to pit road, but Sammy did not. So Sammy's car was still sitting out on the front stretch. Taylor, I want to say, was on pit road. Taylor got out of his car. A lot of people thought that he was trying to book his way to confront Sammy. Oh, apparently he was just trying to book it to the infield care center because he got into an accident, so you're required to go get checked out at the infield care center after you get out of the car. But whenever the both of them made it over to the infield care center, they had to be pushed apart because they started going after one another in front of the infield care center. And then Harrison, so I'd actually spoken to one of the heads of security. Um, he saw Harrison jump out of his car. So he knew to immediately go over there and make sure nothing happened. I didn't see that incident. I've not seen that one. I've not watched that one.
Um, Harrison was on a side of the fence, and then Sammy was on the other one, and I could tell because I saw the video on Twitter. Harrison was, oh man, he was mad, but they had a fence in between them. So I don't know where Harrison had went, but he was on one side of the fence and Sammy was on
The
the other side of the fence.
so it would have to have been the infield care center. That's the
Yeah,
only other like fence. Like
I
you're
was gonna
talking
say
about
'cause-
the metal fence, like you got the catch fence is that type of fence, but
I
it's
think
not the
so.
catch fence. So
Yeah,
yes,
because
in
Harrison was on one side and Sammy was on the other side, but the fence was in between them.
yes, so Martinsville, the only other place that they have fence like that is either in the tunnel, going down into the tunnel, or the infield care center.
Yeah, it was the infield. It was the infield care center then.
So yeah, it was. I genuinely thought Taylor was gonna have it,
Yeah, me too.
but
But
it
we know my feelings on how I feel about the winners of the truck and Xfinity.
yeah.
I'm not that mad.
But it ended up being Austin Hill, winning the Xfinity race. Um, but it actually marked 100 wins in the Xfinity series for RCR. So I guess I'm not the biggest fan of Austin Hill, but I feel like that was a cool achievement, for RCR. Um,
I mean, I'm not either, but it's fine that he won. That's the only time I will ever say that. I just want to state that. That is the only
like
time I will ever
guys,
say that.
write this down. Like it's a miracle.
I mean, we know my reasoning, but that's the only time I will ever be fine with Austin Hill winning that race. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
But yeah, it was which, something I do want to point out, even though he was kind of wrecked on the front stretch, Chris Wright finished ninth.
What?
Ninth, a top 10. I like that's, an achievement within itself. Gotta be honest, I was sitting in the media center for quite a bit of this race because with Martinsville being so small, I could go out and shoot for like maybe 10 minutes and get like 500 photos in like four different angles. So,
I really don't remember watching any of the races, I'm gonna be completely honest, but I did watch them. I really don't remember the cup race though. I completely was like zoned out during it,
you
but it's
didn't,
fine.
yeah, you didn't really miss much.
There wasn't hardly like really any wrecks, so I didn't miss much.
Um,
It's
it was Christopher Bell, um, I believe, to get pole. Chase
yeah,
Elliott on the outside. They bring out a caution for debris on the track. I thought Chase Elliott won one of the stages, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure Denny Hamlin won both stages.
No, Joe Logano won a stage. Um, but after the debris, they get going again. Josh Berry leading with Austin Cindric on the outside. Bro, Austin was having so much trouble with batteries. Like
Don't
they
even,
would
don't even talk about batteries. Everybody had problems with batteries essentially.
like Jesus Christ. Um, so lap 71, Chris Buescher spins on the front stretch after, you know, not surprising, contact from Carson Hocevar. Not surprising.
I have no comment about when Carson hits people now because the way I view it, to be fair, Carson is doing what he has to do, just like everybody else does what they have to do. And when Carson was a rookie, how many times did he get hit by people because he didn't know how to drive? Now Carson's just paying it back, so therefore he kind of has a right.
But this restart, it was Joe Logano, on the inside, Alex Bowman on the outside.
All
And
right,
it was a essentially one lap shootout to the end of stage one where Joe Logano got it.
all right.
Alex Bowman in second, AJ Allmendinger in third, Brad Keselowski in fourth, and Eric Jones getting a top five in the stage. On this restart, Alex Bowman leads Chase Elliott on the outside. Lap 122, Bart Myers experiences mechanical issues, slowing on the front stretch. And he ends up stopping on the exit, on pit exit, and couldn't get going again, so they had to throw a caution.
No surprise there.
Denny Hamlin leading on the restart, Bubba Wallace on the inside. Um, Surprised he chose the outside, but all right. And it was Denny Hamlin to get stage two. On the restart, Denny Hamlin's still leading with Chase Elliott on the outside. They have a caution at 2:01 for Riley Herbst spinning in turn one after contact with Austin Cindric. I was listening to his radio. So they were three wide. Austin in the middle, Riley on the outside. Um, really, Austin had nowhere to go, so it was kind of it was a three wide battle, so it just that was the consequence of that. And Riley, it like it ended up going to Riley. Um, but Denny
Just
Hamlin leading again for the restart. Bubba Wallace on the outside. Um, so lap 275, SVG Shane Van Gisbergen experiences a spin. Um, and then I'm pretty sure he spun first, and then his wheel came off. So I
I
think
think
he, I,
I think that's what happened.
so I think he felt it loose, and then he ended up spinning, and then result of the spin, like fully came off.
I think so.
I want to say that's how that happened.
I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that sounds about right.
But the restart again, Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace. A caution on lap 298 for Ty Gibbs spinning off turn two from contact with Tyler Reddick. So Ty Gibbs made a funny comment over his radio. He called Tyler Reddick little, which is kind of funny because they're fairly similar in size. I think Ty is like a little bit taller, but not by much.
Yeah.
But because of this, um, Ty was across the road, like blocking. So Zane Smith had to like essentially slam on brakes, had nowhere to go. Um, and he may have made slight contact to the side of Ty Gibbs's car, but I don't believe it was a lot. But they get going again on Denny Hamlin leading Bubba Wallace on the outside. Lap 309, Noah Gragson spins in turn two after contact from Chris Buescher. Again, the same front row, um, but right after they get restarted, Chase Briscoe clips the curb in turn three, gets sideways and hits Joe Logano, who spins because of this. Same front row on the restart. It's green to the end, where Denny Hamlin um, wins the race. It was 4.628 seconds above Christopher Bell. Bubba Wallace got third, Chase Elliott fourth, and Kyle Larson fifth.
It's been
Um,
over a decade since Denny Hamlin has won at Martinsville.
yes, it
It's
was 2014, 2013.
10 years. It's been 10 years
I
since
didn't
he won.
think it was 2015. Thought
I
it
don't
was
know.
earlier than that.
They didn't exact I don't remember. I don't think they said the year, but they said it's been over a decade and that it's been 10 years since the last time he won at Martinsville.
Yes, I was in the media center for part of his interview, and I want to say they either said 13 or 14, but
Maybe.
I, ca- I can't remember. Um,
Been a long time coming for him
yeah, yeah, which is
at
funny because
Martinsville.
he was the one that was like the ha short track racing, like
Yeah.
was making fun of whoever originally said it. think it was Joey actually. I think that's who he was making fun of.
He was, because it was Joey.
Um, oh gosh, who got DQ'd?
Eric Jones.
That's it. Yeah, I saw that news. Yes. So Eric Jones got DQ'd. Um,
Other news that Bob had posted is that they're reviewing Sammy's move and will be calling penalties if there is any penalties.
oh yeah, where he's sending into the corner.
Hmm.
Um, so kind of jumping around. Big news on the Formula One front. Um, Red Bull swapped Liam Lawson with Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda is finally going to get his chance to show what he can do in a Red Bull at his home track in Japan, which I do believe is this weekend. Yes, it is. Um, so we have Darlington with Xfinity and Cup. Trucks are not going there this time, which I'm surprised. I would honestly much rather have the trucks at Throwback Weekend than the Southern 500 weekend, but it is what it is. And then we have Suzuka. Um, again, not very great times for sessions as an East Coaster of of the of the United States. Because we got a session at 11:30 p.m., 3 a.m., 11:30 p.m., 3 a.m., and the race is at 2 a.m.
You gonna
So,
watch those, Sid?
no, because I'm going to Darlington. I'm doing media at Darlington. I I am going my unfortunately, if I'm doing media for a weekend or if I'm at a NASCAR track, my as much as I love Formula One, my sole focus is on the track that I'm at. Um,
So I just
so
found out that I'm going to Texas also before Kansas, and then I'm going to Kansas.
oh,
And then they have off for the All-Star race, and then I'm hitting Charlotte, and then Nashville. And then I think we're going to Atlanta.
yes, I love Atlanta. Atlanta's probably one of my favorites.
I think we're going to Atlanta. But I have back to back, break, back to back.
Yeah, that's funny. Um,
Love.
but so let's start. We'll start with our Xfinity picks. IndyCar is off until next weekend, I believe it's like the 11th. Yes, April 11th through the 13th, they go to Long Beach. Um, but for Xfinity, um, at Darlington,
Justin won that race the first time.
yes, he won the throwback race last year.
Yeah.
Um, let's see the entry list. Nick Leitz is going to be in the '07. Ross Chastain is going to be in the 9.
Oh, what the heck?
Christopher Bell will be in the 19. Austin Green is going to be racing in the 32.
Austin?
I I saw him walking down the pit road at like on Xfinity Day at Martinsville, and I'm like, Austin. And he's like, at first he like didn't, and I called him again. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking to me." Like I said, I think the second time I said his full name, and then he realized that I was calling him.
Gosh.
But Greg Van Alst is going to be in the 35 for Joey Gaze. It is Mason Massey this time in the 45. It looks like the 53 is undecided at the moment. For Throwback Weekend is going to be Leland Honeyman Jr., which they have a Nesquik throwback, by the
Oh,
way,
I
if you
love
do
it.
not know.
I love this quick.
Dawson Cram again in the 74, and it is Josh Bilicki this time in the 91.
I'm so sad
Um,
because I have not freaking seen Dawson except for Vegas, and I didn't actually freaking see him. I just saw him sitting at the table. I've yet to see Dawson again.
well, I mean, if you're coming to Charlotte, he normally hangs around there if he's not driving. Which actually, so he he works on um a lot of the times works on the 70 or the 74. So if he's not racing, he's normally working on a car. So
I feel like it sounds about right for him.
yeah. Um, but for Darlington, um,
You know what? I feel like I have to run it back and go with Justin.
yeah, I feel like that's a solid choice. Oh crap, Chase Elliott in the 17. I didn't see that the first time. So hold on, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain.
Those are the only cup drivers.
God, yeah,
Boo hiss. I don't care.
I
I'm still picking Justin, and then
I guess I'm gonna say Chase Elliott. I guess.
absolutely not.
I mean, who are we kidding?
Nah, someone's gonna wreck Chase Elliott out. I'm gonna call it right here. Someone's gonna wreck Chase Elliott out.
I mean,
Someone. I don't even know who to pick for a long shot. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna try Taylor Gray.
I love Taylor.
I'm gonna see if he can get it.
I feel like I feel like we keep flipping back and forth between Taylor because Taylor is so,
He just
he's right.
like
He's just
literally
right there.
literally the same exact thing happened to him two Martinsville races in a row in two
Look,
different series.
look, to be fair, I hated me and Christian were not friends after the second Martinsville race where he wrecked Taylor. We were not friends right then and there because he did that to Taylor. And then Taylor comes storming down. I don't know. We'll go with. I'm literally just gonna not look and just whatever my finger lands on, that's who's gonna be a long shot. Oh, who is this? Conveniently enough, I'm not even kidding, didn't do this on purpose. My finger has landed on Harrison Burton.
Bleh. Okay, okay.
I didn't even look. I just
I
randomly.
actually don't know if he ever won it at Darlington in the Xfinity series.
I don't remember. I didn't look. I just did it all randomly. I'm like, whoever it lands on, it's Harrison.
Okay. Now, you gotta pick. Oh, you said Justin and Harrison. Okay. So you got yours.
Yeah.
So for the cup, I honestly, I'm gonna try a Chris Buescher.
Brad actually won last year's.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Chris Buescher and I'm gonna
Oh,
I'm gonna go
Austin Hill's running it.
yeah. I'm gonna I'm gonna
I,
go Tyler Reddick.
okay, fair enough. Um, shoes. I have no idea.
There's some actually pretty sick throwback schemes.
I feel like I haven't seen any. Also, Front Row Motorsports teased one, and I don't know who's it for because everybody's like, Noah's not getting a throwback. But now everybody's thinking that it's Noah who's getting a throwback. Spire Motorsports isn't doing a throwback.
I mean, honestly, Xfinity does throwback way better.
Honestly, that is the actual, like, yeah, that's true.
Like, I can tell you right now, that's straight facts.
That's straight facts. I have no idea. You know what? I'm gonna say, I'll say Alex,
Okay,
and then I'll go Brad as a long shot.
okay. That's a solid. Because like I mean, Brad won last year, so
And I think Alex has won Darlington once.
I think he has.
I think he's won Darlington. I'm pretty sure I have a
Um,
car that's a Darlington win.
but so now we got to pick for Japan, Suzuka. Um, I'm gonna say Lewis, and I don't know who I picked last time.
I don't
Um,
know.
I'm actually gonna say Yuki. I think
Oh,
I have high hopes for Yuki in the Red Bull, especially at his home race. Like he
not
has
bad, not bad.
literally he has literally been trying to get this Red Bull seat for years. So let's see what he can do.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with George, and you know what? I'll also say Yuki. We'll see how he does.
I feel like I mean he's got a lot to prove, you know?
Yeah.
Like he he has been very vocal about wanting this Red Bull seat. So I'd uh I'd like to see how he does at his home race. Because I'm almost positive him and um Liam used to race together at Japan, like at Suzuka, that like and around Japan. So I think that's originally how they met, if I
Huh.
remember correctly. But okay. Well, that is it for this week. Um again, like I'll be back at the track this weekend. Um Really, I'm gonna be at like every like at a track like every weekend. Um,
Lucky you. I still gotta wait 4 more weeks. Nope, I gotta wait 3 more weeks until I can see my boys. If I see them at Texas, which hopefully I will.
yeah, but all right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. However you enjoy a lovely podcast, this has been episode 8 of the Trackside Girls podcast season 3. Um, and let's do the outro. It
Yeah.
goes peace, love, and race cars. All right. Good night, everybody.
Peace.